I'm going to show you some of the tools available in Field Analyzer Beta in the John Deere Operations Center. So to get started, we'll kind of look over on the left side of the screen here. We've got a couple different tabs. If we pop out this filter tab, we can show any flags that are available for this field. Moving down in this next tab here, we're filtering out everything that we're seeing on this side. So first we've got our test plot selected for our field. If we want to change that, we can drop that down right here. And then we choose how we want our map displayed. So it starts out with an overview, and right now we're seeing our corn harvest of 2018 and dry yield. So we can see that over here. We can change our layers right here if we want to go between yield and moisture or any of our other layers. So we'll go back to yield. Down in the lower portion here, we just get a summary of the agronomic data for this operation. We've got a little bit of editing capability here, so we can change our area worked or add work notes. If we choose area worked, if you had maybe a portion of the field that was flooded or washed out or just wasn't able to be harvested for some reason, you can change your overall acres to match what your total acres should be for that field so that your averages are correct. You can also revert if you make a mistake there. If you need other post-calibration tools, you'll go back to the regular Field Analyzer tool to complete those. So we'll look at that a little bit later. In here we can also jump between operations by hitting the arrow in the lower right, and it gives us our calendar. So if we want to jump back to seeding of 2018 here, we can select that down here. So we'll go back to our harvest map and pop up our summary. Up in the upper left, we have some more analysis capabilities in here, so we can bring out these tools, and if we want to select just the irrigated portion of the field compared to our dryland corners, we can select the circle and trace out our pivot, and it's going to give us our totals for just the selected portion of the field compared to the full operation. We can also print that map if we choose export up at the top, and it's going to create a PDF of that map for us. So here we have the selected portion of the field compared to the full operation. So then we can clear this up here. You can also use a square, a circle, or any kind of polygon from that menu. Over on the left here, we can now edit our legend as well. So selecting any of these is just going to highlight that portion on the map. You can select it again to deselect it on the map. If you choose edit, you can edit your legend, so you can change your breakpoints here or add in new ones. You can also distribute evenly, restore your defaults, or you can create a new template if you want to do that across several different fields and bring that up every time. Contouring is going to take some of the pixelation out of this, so if we drag this across, it's going to refigure our map and add a little bit more contouring and a little less pixelation to the map. We can also increase and decrease the opacity of the map, so if we want to see through it a little bit more, we can do that as well. So back over on the left, if we select a second operation, maybe we want to look at our corn seeding, right away it jumps to as applied rate. We'll change that to varieties here. And we get this data analysis tab now populated, so we can compare our different varieties to our total and our average yields from right here. We can also go over to the left and select compare. So this may be helpful maybe if you've got a 2020 and a 2021 harvest map, if you want to look at maybe your different harvest totals for the year compared to each other. You can also go over here and select overlay and overlay these maps. So this overlays our varieties. This may be helpful if you completed some type of different application across the field. So maybe you did a couple different test strips and you want to see how your yield compared in those test strips. This is a good time to change your opacity and see kind of where those layers landed. And you can see your map behind as well, so we can see kind of where some of the stronger portions of the field were. You can always print these maps from right here as well. So going back to our overview and our summary tab, if you need to do some additional post calibrations, you can select Edit here and go to Field Analyzer, and it's going to load the original Field Analyzer tool for this field. So once this loads up, we get a few different options. We can change between our operation. It's going to jump back to whatever the last completed operation was. So if we need to go back to seeding, we can do that from here. And if we need to do some post calibrations, we can edit those here. So here we'll click the pencil, and we've got a lot more options for post calibration. So if we had our crop season wrong in the display or the crop, we can change them. We can edit our varieties. We can edit what our total dry yield actually was, or we have the option to use wet weight instead, so we enter our wet weight and the average moisture for that field. We can also choose edit field right here. So this is helpful if your combine wasn't calibrated correctly, or maybe if you had a couple combines in the same field and they weren't calibrated exactly the same. So you can toggle this across and change what the overall average yield was for that machine, and it's going to adjust that machine itself on the map. So if we had two here, you can adjust them separately. And you can also change your area worked again right here. If you make a mistake on that, you can revert to what the original value was. So that is an overview of Field Analyzer Beta and Field Analyzer in the John Deere Operations Center. Thanks for watching.